The Greenbelt scandal just got a whole lot worse for the Ford government. The Integrity Commissioner has found that the Minister of Housing violated the Integrity Act with the land swap, and some developers benefited as a result. The opposition is calling for the minister to resign. Doug Ford is refusing.
At best, what we see here is gross incompetence, but at worst, it's corruption and it's colluding with developers.
Integrity Commissioner David Wake released this damning 165-page report, finding Housing Minister Steve Clark violated ethics rules because he failed to oversee the Greenbelt land swap, which led to some developers being alerted to the government's plans. Exactly 3 weeks ago, the Auditor General found those developers stand to gain $8.3 billion.
It shows a government that is willing to abdicate any and all the rules to make sure a few wealthy, well-connected elites can cash in at our expense.
The report also finds Minister Clark's Chief of Staff, Ryan Amato, who had never been in that position before, was untrained, but also the driving force behind the land selection process. According to the Integrity Commissioner, the evidence paints a picture of a process marked by misinterpretation, unnecessary hastiness, and deception, and shows Amato told his minister, "Leave it with me," and then embarked on a chaotic and almost reckless process, creating an opportunity to further the private interests of some developers improperly. Both the housing minister and Premier Doug Ford have stated they were unaware of what Amato was doing.
There's another side to this which the Integrity Commissioner gets at, which is that if you're turning a blind eye to it, is that because, you don't really want to be, you want plausible deniability, which is actually a term that the Auditor General also used in her report.
The report also finds communication took place by phone, and phones had been replaced and text messages lost at that time.
This $8.3 billion Greenbelt scandal is not going to go away. Open a public inquiry.
It's time that the Premier needs to do his job and kick him out of cabinet. Enough is enough.
But shortly after the report's release, the Premier doubled down, releasing a statement that his housing minister is staying on. The Integrity Commissioner is recommending Clark be reprimanded. The NDP says that's not enough, but under the rules, that's all the Integrity Commissioner can do. The opposition wants the government to reverse its decision and put all the land back into the Greenbelt. The Premier has refused to do so.
It says to me that the Premier is more concerned about these developers losing out on this deal than he is about the trust of Ontarians.
Now, Minister Clark also put out a release indicating he is not resigning. So both he and Doug Ford are doubling down, acknowledging a flawed process, but one without any consequences. And Doug Ford isn't going into hiding. He's holding a news conference tomorrow morning with his ministers of Labour and Education. He is making one small concession, though, maybe in some damage control. After the media told the Ford government that a developer was trying to allegedly flip some Greenbelt land in Pickering, the Ford government announced later on today that they are going to try and get that land back and start the process. But that's 104 acres out of the 7,400 impacted. That is not going to appease the opposition.